Speed this process up. I've added in basic accounting principles. I've added in bookkeeping, both as pages. Now I'm going to add in another page, which is that front page. So if I go to the home page of my site, I've got this what is accounting anyway. I'm just going to swipe that, copy it, and put it in here. I'm just going to paste that in. And you can see I've also pasted the image as well. And you might have to check the source code sometimes. Just make sure if your image doesn't come across that you copy the source code in the HTML component of your text editor. Now, do you remember on the main site over here that this doesn't actually have a permalink? This is on the static front page. There's no domain name and then post name. It's just the domain name as the first thing there. So I'm not actually going to give it a title. And that's for the simple reason that there is no title already indexed. It just shows up straight away on the root. So I'm not going to put a title in there. And of course, you should do some SEO work and decide whether you want comments, etc. when we move this up to the main site. At the moment, I'm just putting it in draft. So I'm going to publish that. Then I'm going to set the front page. So I've got settings reading. And on my front page, because I want it to look exactly like this site that I've got here, I'm going to set the front page to this one that's blank, that doesn't actually have a heading in it, because you'll remember that I never put a title there. I'm going to save the changes. And on my home page of my new site, I've got that same home page that I had and the images. And I've also got those other two pages that I'd already uploaded. And of course I can put in categories and change all this sidebar around. You need to find a theme that suits. I've just gone with whatever I had handy lying around. And also you need to customize your tags and all the great things that make WordPress so much fun to start with. But at the moment, even though we're looking at two different themes, and you should sort of consider that if you've had your site for a long time, you might want to keep the theme looking pretty well like it already does, so as not to confuse your visitors. But if it's a new site and you're just converting it over to WordPress, as go and have some fun and choose something else. So now that we know our home page is exactly the same, and it's on our root, we've got our other content there. Now we can go about changing our permalinks for the rest of the site and adding our HTML extension to these pages. Just going into settings and permalinks. Now you also need to remember, I'm going to choose a custom structure for my permalinks. I'm just going to go with post name and the HTML extension on it, for the simple reason that I don't think that I'm going to have many categories in this site. If I was, then I would choose the category post name permalink extension. So I'm just going to click Save Changes, and you see that I've got that HTML in there, and that'll correspond with the static site that I've already created. I'm just going to have a look at those pages I popped in on the site, and if this was a real site and not a dummy site, you should be installing Platinum SEO now and putting some good SEO friendly stuff down there. So when I go back to the notepad that I made earlier of what the permalink structure was, it's in a directory called test. That's not a category, that's the actual domain. So what we need to change for this to work properly is this exact same what we had earlier. So you can see we had a capital B there, because this is what's already been indexed by Google if this was a real site. And then we've got that HTML extension on there, courtesy of the plugin we installed. So I'm just going to change that. And so now we can see we've got the HTML extension on there. That's the name of the post, which is the same as what's previously been indexed. If it hasn't, you would just go click Edit and make sure it looks exactly the same as what's already been there. The permalink structure doesn't take capitals or anything like that, so you don't need to worry about capital letters there. Just make sure the other parts are the same and the file extension is correct. Okay, so now you would do your SEO stuff and activate the Platinum SEO plugin. And if I go in here, I can see that I've got the page, and it's even copied over the images that I had on the test site over here. These black, so I've got them here as well. Images come through, and if I copy this permalink structure here onto Notepad, you'll be able to see that what I've got there, because of that HTML extension plugin that I'm using, is the exact same URL that I had previously, or still have, on the test site. So, of course, now you could customize your WordPress theme a little bit more. We've got all the content over, so now we just need to move it up a bit, and obviously you need to do your SEO. So do your SEO first for these posts, then we're going to move it out of the directory into the root of the domain, and we're going to use the redirection plugin for any stray pages or error requests that we might have received.